Practical Talk Time. I'm your host, Usha Kumar. I thought that I should bring to the attention of my viewers the numerous fabrics that are available in India and that have been available for centuries. And some of the weaving and preparation of these materials itself dates back several thousands of years, and there is Tamil literature from 5,000 years ago and even many years before that about fabrics in India. And I think the oldest literature we have about different fabrics in India that women wore, they are in Tamil literature, and it talks about clothing made from cotton, which is called nool podave, or cotton saris, and then they're called silk saris, pattu podave. And again, all of these were woven, hand woven and hand spun very often. And there is even mention of a particular type of fabric that was so thin and light and you could see through it, and that was called tugiluri. And tugiluri means, have you ever seen the skin that a snake sheds? You know, it's extremely fine. It's a very pale white in color, almost glassy. And so there is description of such material in literature from thousands and thousands of years ago. And it seems that a sari made in that material could pass through a woman's ring, and it was that fine. Of course, I think most people are familiar today with thicker materials from India, more like the bandhani prints that are used as bed covers, or even sheeting material that's now being used for making curtains. But people in India did enjoy wearing fine material, very heavy, beautiful silks, and very fine cotton material saris and shirtings. So having said that, today I want to let you know that I have a very good friend of mine, Helga Duethorn. She has been an avid collector of Indian fabrics, and she has collected fabrics from remote areas in India, from tribal areas, and from the very, very special artisans that are really going extinct now, but she managed to get a few pieces which she's going to show to you. So please join me in welcoming Helga. Helga, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Usha. It's my pleasure to be with you.
You have such a wonderful collection of fabrics that you got from India. A lot of fabric, cotton material, simple material that common folk wear, at the same time with elaborate embroidery and very specialized treatment with colors.
Let me get a little bit into it. We lived for 2.5 years in Delhi, and my husband worked for the United Nations, and as a wife I was not allowed to work. So there were other women in the same category. We were basically not allowed to work, and we needed to keep ourselves busy. And there was a group.
You could not work because you did not have a work visa or something.
When you work for an international organization that is the United Nations, we would basically take an Indian job away.
I see.
They hire primarily Indians.
I see.
So here we were, women, and we all love materials. We were taken by the Indian materials, the beauty, the color. And so a few of us got together and we hired somebody to take us on a trip to the Gujarat. And my husband called us the IndianTextiles. Well, I can't repeat it now, but we were traveling to an area.
So this is Gujarat, which is on the western side of India,
yes,
close to Pakistan.
One has to look at the mass of India and superimpose it on the United States and realize it's about half of the United States.
I think size-wise, it's about a third.
Well, a little, yes, if you take Alaska into it, yes.
Yes.
Now, India has 700 dialects. It has many different languages.
At least 22 official languages.
It has official languages. You speak Tamil.
Yeah.
It is a blessing in a way that you still all speak English, because otherwise you could not communicate with each
one
other.
Another. Yes.
It's like in Europe, where you go from one country to another and you speak a different language.
That's pretty much how it was there.
And with it comes different cultures and different patterns in life itself, in religion, in art. And yet there is a commonality about it. And I think that is something that is probably the survival of the democracy of India.
Yeah.
Because you do have a common idea.
Definitely. India is a young country still.
I would dispute that. You're very, very old. America is a young country.
Yeah, it's a young democracy.
Yes.
But before that, it was a much larger country or whatever, when emperors ruled from all the way from Afghanistan to Thailand. And there were several South Indian kings who were ruling Thailand areas. Basically, they were married into that family. And that is why in the South Indian, some of the South Indian patterns, you will still see some of the lotus patterns. And
well, that would interest me. What do you...
This is silk. Mostly ancient Indian fabrics were made of silk, cotton, jute, and then what is the other one? Linen. They make
linen, yes.
Yeah. So
and flax.
Those were the main fabrics, and all of the raw material was found in the country itself.
Correct.
Nothing was imported in those days. So they had all these busy silkworms making the silk.
One of the things, too, is that there is a difference between the Indian silk and the Chinese silk.
There is.
What is the difference? Do you know it?
Well, Indian silk itself, first of all, just like your oranges, you have all these different varieties growing everywhere. So we do have some different type of caterpillars there, and the butterflies, whatever, that make that cocoon.
The thread.
Then there is also a different process in which the yarn is taken out. The yarn is not broken.
Yeah.
They are very carefully, it's a very laborious process. Now I think they do have some machines to help with it. But they unravel the yarn, the thing from the cocoons, rather than try to just break it off and then try to spin them into fabric. Silk fabric, and because of that, I think because of the process, we get finer silk of a certain type. See, this sari is over 35 years old, and anyone looking at it would think it's new because it hasn't lost its shine, and I've worn it so many times and washed it so many times.
Well, that is the beauty of silk.
And then again,
itself.
all of these laces are all hand woven. This whole thing is hand loomed.
Yes.
The whole sari, it's not machine made.
Yes. So you would also, if you looked with it with a glass, a magnifying glass.
You'll find some slight irregularities there.
Yes,
but
you
can
see the different thickness
threads. Yeah, if threads break, then they'll add a new thread there.
Yes.
And then they'll kind of like go in and...
Now, you have
it's a lovely
something
process if you watch them.
Very interesting.
And this is a very simple palo pattern.
Yes. Well...
Otherwise, you could have lots of decorations, but this is a simple,
yes,
the simplest pattern you can get with this kind of sari. And here again, it is woven. The red color material here is woven into the black material.
Correct. It's
so
all
the thread
in one
itself
process.
Is colored. It's not colored afterward.
It's one
thread
process.
Is colored, and then
Correct.
it is woven.
Yeah. Now I see you brought something very different. It's very intriguing.
Yeah, here
because the embroidery.
Yeah,
is
see,
so
now what
beautiful.
we try to do is we try to marry the American materials with the Indian styling. So I took this material, bought it right here in Danbury.
Yes.
And then gave the pattern and design to my to the
Seamstress.
tailor there, and said I also got its lining material. See, this is very thin, so I got a lining material, and I wanted this particular embroidery, and that is, this type of embroidery is done particularly by the Muslim people in Chennai area.
Well,
So it's made right there, and they sit and make, and they see all the mirror work and the very fine embroidery.
yeah, that is something that most Muslim work has a lot of mirrors.
There you have the mirror
This
work.
is also Muslim work, and this is more elementary cotton material, but it's heavily stitched. You cannot even see the material through it. It's all embroidered.
Yeah.
And just now, this, of course, in the olden days was mica. Those mirrors were natural stone.
Natural mica found in that area, Rajasthan,
yes,
Gujarat area.
yes.
Yes, they are mined there. So even this is that, I think. This is not a mirror. This is mica stone.
But you know, so much of the newer materials take over nowadays.
So
but-
basically we had Indian fabrics used to be made of these materials, but in the last 50 years, nylons and
Well, that's
polyesters
why
and
I brought
microfibers
this
have taken over.
example here. This is a quilt, and it's all hand done. It's hand stitched, see? But the person who made that used leftover materials. They cut up old saval kameezes, old saris, and they
Leftover
incorporated
material and
they
made it
make
into
quilts. And if you look carefully,
Wow.
there are some really odd colors. Now, this would not normally be a natural color.
Yeah.
It's not. This is a polyester.
I see.
It's not a cotton
So
material.
whatever material they find, they
See?
just
Here
get pieces
too.
and join them, yes.
So
But it's lovely that the whole thing is made by hand.
it's all made by hand.
And this is such a colorful quilt.
If you-
Where did you buy this?
That was in a mud village. They were round houses.
Where?
They had no electricity. It was so close to the Pakistani border, we needed to have a special permit.
I see.
And
So you had to get the permit from whom?
from the government, even Indians cannot go to that area.
I see.
And it's an area where they have mud houses, they're round houses, and 20 years ago, they did not have electricity, and they didn't want to have electricity.
I see.
They had somebody from the government promise them if they vote for him, he would bring electricity to the village. They said, no, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure by now they have
They have it,
electricity.
yes.
But you see here too, this is also hand
Yeah.
work. This is tie-dye.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And-
That's an intricate tie-dye.
And the tie-dye,
And they
was-
tie those little knots and then
Yes.
they dip them in the dyes and
well,
read
the
it.
tie-dyeing, they do still,
They put
they
little wax
have
or something.
their nail so pointed,
Oh.
and they put it over the finger, and some who don't have it, they have like a metal one, and they put it over the finger and they wrap it, and you
So
see, this is
just to make each dot there,
Yes.
it is a little knot that somebody
Yes.
had to put, right?
Correct. And then
even
it is
that, they had to
hand-dyed.
color it, yeah.
and
then
this
they
is
dip
a
it
silk
in.
material.
Oh, wow, this is so fine again.
Yes.
Oh my God.
This is
Helga,
very
you have
exquisite.
this
now,
is a great material.
The-
This will
this
cost a
type-
fortune today if you
this
try to buy
type of work was also done by the Japanese royals.
I see.
And it was outlawed because to make this type of work,
Yeah.
they used children, and it ruined their eyes.
Yeah.
And it is not possible to find that anymore. So there are very few areas where you can find this type of work done. And you can see also the irregularity of the handwork.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't necessarily match.
Yeah, because you're tying it into little knots.
And the color, like here, the color is much brighter on this side, and here it's darker.
Yeah. It depends on how much wax they put on each of the dots.
It's, as I
and
say,
then they have to remove it, right? They put it in hot water again to remove the wax.
But that
I've seen the process in some exhibition.
Well,
that's how I knew
I
how
found
they made
that on
them.
the side of the road there was an old woman sitting
my God.
there
She was
doing
actually
this
making it there.
type of work.
I know, isn't that beautiful? And it makes a woman look very beautiful when you put it on.
You
Even
also
now,
have
use
to
it as
realize
a scarf.
we don't do that anymore very much, but even in India, the women used to go veiled.
Yes.
And you can see through this.
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah, because before the British came, northern India was under Mughal rule.
Yes.
For many years, that's when that habit came.
Well,
that tradition of covering the face was there because we had Muslim rule for 300 years before the British.
Apka was one of the big Muslim rulers in Delhi, and
that is why that practice is in North India but not in South India. You will not see a South Indian woman wear the veil, but you'll see North Indians wear.
Well, I would wear it in Delhi
just to keep the dust out.
Yes.
Dust and sun.
Yes, the dust. Okay. We should maybe also mention certain traditions that have to do with, a little bit with the religion. This is again a material that comes from the Lucknow area, from Uttar Pradesh, but a Sewal kameez, and very often white is the color of a widow.
Yeah.
The Indian...
pure white is for widows.
Yes. The Indian woman, once she is widowed, she is assumed to be taken care of by the rest of the family, and sometimes she becomes a little bit of a burden, and she is also showing to the outside that she is now alone. She is the widow. So this is also all hand woven. It's very irregular.
So find
here the thread, how it is mended.
Yes.
It's hand woven cotton.
Ah, I see. That's when the thread breaks and they add a new thread.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, they could have taken that and put it someplace else, but it doesn't matter. It's not important.
Yes.
And you brought also a nice bag with some nice work
quilt
on it.
work.
Quilt work.
Yeah, here it is. You can show. This is silk material. Again, this is a quilt, but this is a modern piece. So what happened is, it's machine stitched.
Well, you
this
see,
quilting is made by machine, not by
yes,
hand.
And this type of work also.
But however, this embroidery is separate, and it's patched onto it.
Yes. Now, this type of work is also done for export.
Exactly.
And a lot of the designers go to India and pick some of these materials and incorporate it in their designs.
The embroidery patches are done by a different group of people, and then the sewing is done by another group.
Yes.
So they're put together to Western specifications.
I would also like to point out that there is an effort made by the international organizations to help the women in the rural areas, such as in Gujarat, in Bhuj in particular, where you have very impoverished conditions. You have tribal lives, and the women, they make money by doing this work. They are supported by the government. Even American women have gone to India and have helped them to set up sewing centers so that they can do some of the embroidery, some These are pillows you would find here maybe in a store. See, that's a typical hand embroidered piece. Now, some areas they don't embroider, they paint onto the material. And it is so intricate, the painting, the ink is so permanent that it looks from both sides pretty much the same.
Oh, I see.
And
oh, there's a name for this. I forget now.
Rugen?
No, name for this kind of work.
And they have...
So these similar patterns used to be put on salwar kameezes. Well, when I used to go to college, we had those as the latest fashion.
I brought those back to make pillows out of. And
you can pretty much sew that onto a skirt or
I
anything,
have also
or the back
framed
of a shirt.
some of these. When I have framed some of these, like
really?
artwork. Yes. So
again, this is also block print, right? This one here.
Yes.
The sheet is block print. And I showed another block printed sari.
Now, this is so regular, you would think it is machine made. Look at this piece of work. This is also from Gujarat, from a different region.
Let's hold it steady so some people can see it.
And there you see they incorporate flowers.
Yeah, whereas this one is machine embroidered.
And they have the peacock is very often a pattern.
Yes.
Is represented and flowers throughout. And some years back I have been to Turkey, and if you look at the carpets and some of the Turkish crafts, they also use flowers.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, we have imitated nature throughout the centuries.
Oh, yes.
Whether you look at Chinese patterns.
Most of the sari borders that we have in the handloom sari section in India, whether it is cotton handloom sari or silk handloom sari like this, they have patterns of flowers, leaves, then they have patterns of fruits like mangoes. And mango designs are very often, they look like a paisley, like a fatter paisley. And then, of course, then they have the sun and the stars and the moon. Yeah, almost everything in nature is imitated in these designs.
This is tribal wear. This they would wear, has nothing in the back.
It's
so
open.
The woman who wears that wears one of the shawls. If I
were that goes all the way from the head and goes down.
Yes, I would wear this
I
sort
see.
of gathered here, and it would go all the way covering the back.
So it covers the back. Oh, I see. So it's open back. Oh my God.
When you are in a very hot climate, this is really comfortable to wear.
And very decorative.
Well, they would wear
bright.
that not every day. That is for a special function.
Oh, I see.
But you see again the pattern of the flowers throughout flowers.
Yeah. Definitely some, good tribal work.
Well, if you think...
We only have 4 minutes left.
Well...
You are wearing a salwar kameez right now. It's a cotton and made in North India.
Yes, I'm going to stand up now so people can...
Watch here.
My microphone, but I want people really to see this.
Oh, that is nice and loose and big and comfortable.
And the pants underneath it are the same pattern, and one size fits all. So with the sari,
which
there's
much
no
like
problem.
A sari, yes.
One size fits all. Yeah. Now, the sari folds up very nicely, and when I go to India and I see the sari stores, there are meters, yards of saris in all colors, in all shades, in every thickness and thinness. The cotton materials, I think, are a little bit more difficult to find nowadays.
Yes.
because they are
all the
also,
polyesters are taking over with the lower cost.
And I think it's a shame because it's not healthy.
It's not, yeah.
You perspire, especially in that hot climate.
Yeah, the polyesters are really not good for the weather conditions
So
there.
I'm very happy to have had the opportunity to live there and absorb it and to bring it home, and I'm happy to share it with people.
It's lovely. So other than these cotton and silks, there are also some wool items you have, just
Yes.
a couple of shawl kind of thing. The Manipuri
Well, this
Bhutan or
that is
Sikkim.
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 And
So this this is a skirt. It's a rectangular piece.
this is,
Yeah.
if I don't
You just
mess,
tie it around like a
I may mess
skirt.
up the microphone.
Yeah, don't.
But you
just
wrap it around.
Oh,
you
okay.
wear a blouse and you tightly bring it all the way around
and then just tie it
and
up.
just tuck it in.
Okay.
No
Not even
button,
tying, just
no zipper, no button, nothing. And
just tucked in and it stays. Lovely.
I would like to say that most Indian people, they have an easy way of doing laundry or ironing because there's nothing.
Yeah,
nothing.
no buttons, no anything.
buttons.
You can just
you just throw
rinse them, wash
Yes.
them, just dry, and then you can just wear it. Yeah.
And then they have also different head gear, these Sikkim ladies. They're mostly Buddhist.
Yeah, again, we ran out of time now. We just have a minute left, I believe. Oh, yeah, and then these are again the shawls from other
Yes.
areas of India,
Yes.
northern India.
So I think we have
thank
pretty
you all
much
for watching.
covered.
Helga, thank you very much for showing everything. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you tune in again next week because we have a second segment of this showing more fabrics and designs. Until next time, goodbye.
Thank you, Usha.
You're welcome.